Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Spallone. I'm currently in the MBA program at Fitchburg State, and I also work in healthcare as a PICC nurse. For those of you that don't know what a PICC nurse is, it's a peripherally inserted central catheter, which is like a really long IV. Usually goes in the basilic vein on the arm, travels up through the subclave, and then down to the right atrium. And we feed more toxic medications that way. Toxic medications that would normally burn peripheral veins are put in place in this vein next to the heart because it's a bigger, stronger, and fluids are running faster through it. So, just a little bit about what I do there. This is my industry use case number three, AI in healthcare. I call it bias, reflection, and responsibility. Um, Overall, pretty interesting topic, but there's definitely one um, part of the story that was very personal to me and really hit home, which we'll get into. AI chatbots are being used more and more in hospitals and clinics. They can help patients answer questions. They can save the staff a lot of time with tasks, and they can make care more efficient. But there's issues, and they sometimes rely on outdated or biased information. These AI programs, especially when it comes to race, which is something that I just learned in this class, and I had no idea being in the medical field for years and years, that the things I was seeing and using years ago were more racial than based on science. Um, so it's not just technical glitches. There are signs of deeper systemic problems in medicine that are being carried over into new technologies. That if we're not careful, that these tools can actually make inequalities worse instead of better. So we can't just assume that because a tool is high tech and is new, that it's also fair. Developers need to train these systems on diverse data that reflects the full range of patients that they serve. These testings can't stop. Like once the chatbots are built and once the AI is built, the testing and the overlook has to continue. We need to keep watching how these tools perform in real life. They got to be monitored. If fairness and accountability aren't at the center of AI development, even well meaning tech can cause real harm. This is the part that really hit me. When I was working as a new PIC nurse years ago, we monitored things like bun levels, creatinine levels, GFR rates, which are filtration rates to the kidneys. And at the time, our labs gave us a reference range, which was normal, considered normal. And there were two different reference ranges. There was a reference range for African Americans, and there was a reference range for Caucasians. And me not knowing any better thought that these numbers were based on science and they had to be factual. I never questioned it. It just seemed like standard practice. But during this research, I realized that those differences weren't based on science at all. They're based on flawed assumptions. And today, labs are using a standardized value, which is great and it shows we're making progress, but it's still a good reminder that even well-intended systems can be wrong if they're not built on current and fair data. After going through this project and reading the case and several references, I'm looking at AI in a different light. We've talked about this before, but being in healthcare, I want technology to help, not hurt. I mean, that's our whole purpose here is to be helping our patients and not hurting them at all. Going forward, I'm definitely be paying closer attention to what AI is doing and how these tools are used in my work. And I'm going to speak up, contact IT or let my supervisor know if I see something that looks off, or maybe just do a lot of research myself and see if I can, figure out why this is the way it is. I'm not a tech guy. I didn't want to be a tech guy. I'm a nurse. But this is an interesting dilemma in the medical field that the technology just can't be ignored. AI in general has a lot of promise, but AI in the healthcare field and the technology in the healthcare field um, is really making leaps and bounds. We have a new program here that AI is detecting um, breast cancer in mammograms, something like 40 times better than doctors can. It's seeing things that radiologists don't even see. So it's pretty amazing. But there still needs to be that human um, overview and monitoring of the AI because we don't want to be, doing double mastectomies because the AI is finding things on everybody. So we have to be very careful, and the radiologists still have to overlook, and other tests have to be performed to verify the AI's findings. So yes, AI can make things faster, easier, and even more accurate, but we have to build it right. That means working together like developers, lawmakers, healthcare workers, educators to make sure that AI reflects our values. If we don't, we risk making the same old mistakes in new high-tech ways. Well, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Um, I struggled through these. This is not my forte at all. So I hope you liked it. It's been a pleasure working with you all.